So I just want to preface this by saying that you're going to listen to and watch how the media portrays this whole thing, including the police, right? Because they wanted to state that they feel or deem or are investigating this as if it is a hate crime, right? So watch the fullness of this, and then we're going to move on to something a little bit more extra.
Video surfaces of a man police say might have been a victim of a hate crime. This happened after officers say an intoxicated man walked into a Marshall County club and used the N-word when referring to the patrons.
Investigators say that the bar is also a problem spot. They say that they respond to it several times every weekend.
Fox 13's Daniel Wilkerson is live outside CJ's Lounge on Memphis Street in Holly Springs. So, Daniel, how is this man police are calling a victim?
Daryl and Darcy, good evening to you. Good evening to you at home. They say he didn't go to the hospital until today. He believes he may have a broken jaw. Meanwhile, CJ's Lounge is now closed. Police say that they were operating without a beer or a business license.
Holly Springs police say cell phone footage they provided to Fox 13 News shows a Tippah County man who has been stripped naked. They say the people who attacked him are seen pouring on him what investigators believe to be beer. Officers say seconds before, they hit, kicked, and stumped nearly every part of his body.
The guy walked in and he was very aggressive.
Miles Stone says he was at CJ's Lounge on Memphis Street late Saturday night into Sunday morning.
Other guys in the area was listening, trying to remain calm. We asked them, they asked for him to leave quietly.
But police say the man continued to call the patrons the N-word. Holly Springs police provided another video of the man outside the bar, speaking erratically, throwing what investigators believe to be gang signs.
When they was scuffling and stuff outside, he was still trying to fight. He still was saying the N-word, N-word. Man, F-U-Ns, F-U-Ns.
Officers say the attackers used poles and sticks to beat him.
So you don't think this is a problem spot?
I do not think. I think it's a positive spot.
But Holly Springs police disagree. The police chief estimates they've been to some 30 calls over the last 3 months CJ's has been open. They say there have been fights, guns found inside, and a man shot in the foot. The chief tells me they're pushing the district attorney to declare it a nuisance.
I'm not standing for anything like that. However, we have to live with our choices, and he made a choice by going into there aggressively, and he has to live with the choice he's made.
Back out live here in Marshall County. Again, you're taking a look at that letter that was placed on the door. We should mention that police tell us right now they have a person of interest who they would like to speak with. Meanwhile, if you were here, you have information, you're asked to call the Holly Springs Police Department.
We heard how mainstream media was framing the video. How the police are like, we're thinking that this is a hate crime and this, that. And nobody said anything that would be considered hateful towards this guy at all. Even within the main video that they gave us with the news anchor, they didn't state that any of the black men there stated anything racial towards the guy. So how this would be considered a racial type of thing doesn't make sense, and it's going to further not make any sense because we're going to actually see, right, security cam footage directly from the place, and I'm guessing this is either maybe an owner, co-owner, maybe a security guard. They're going to give their narration of specifically what is taking place, and we're going to see what it is that mainstream media did not want to show, nor the police.
They never asked to even see my tapes. Now look, he gonna go and do him a little shuffle back on the dance floor. He having him a good time. Nobody told him he couldn't come in there. Nobody disrespected him. He had him a good time. I'ma say it, ain't no such thing as the white people can't come in here and CJ's. We got white people that come in here. We got Hispanics that come in here. We got all races that come in here. We ain't exclude nobody to come enjoy themselves. I'm just giving it to y'all. I gotta give it to y'all in this long length of time so y'all can see what the lick was. He danced and he came in the club with another Caucasian gentleman. He's somewhere lost in the sauce in the party having him a good time. He ain't even paying no attention to the man he came with. He having him a good time. I'm just gonna give it to y'all all the way up until it was time to go. That's when things got crazy. Now, he meet my security guard with aggression. My manager and my security guard. The light's on. It's 2 o'clock. It's time to go. I'm going to shut up so y'all can hear the vocals. As y'all can see, my security guard is not, he called him a nigga 1,000,000 times. He never touched him. That's my manager and my security guard. Never touched him. Never touched him for using the N-word. I'm going to show y'all when he got touched. My dope man trying to keep him calm. He's upset because it's time to go. Leaves out the door, immediately come back in and check out the footage.
So now the plot thickens. So now you have to ask yourself, right? So the police wanted to investigate this and say that this was a racial attack, meaning on the white patron that was there outside where, you know, they in a sense humiliated him, right? They stripped him and they poured beer directly on him because he was disrespectful, right? So the mainstream media wanted to portray this along with the police in a certain type of light. So when you see the actual footage, you saw the fact that the Caucasian dude that was already inebriated came directly in. He just walked in, heard the music, started dancing, catching the Holy Ghost spirit, whatever you want to call it, right? Just dancing by himself in a corner with all of the ghosts from the past. So then after it got to a point in time where the lights came on, because it was 2 a.m., as the guy stated, it's time for the club to shut down and everybody was supposed to leave. The dude wanted to have a problem, right? Because he had to leave, just like everybody else had to leave. So the guy started, saying, some words that should not be said. And the black guys there, they just let it slide. It's like, he's drunk, whatnot, or whatever. Just basically giving it an excuse, right? So that they don't have to put hands directly on him. Because that's the last resort. They don't really do anything up until somebody else gets physical, gets violent, wants to really, get in, right? So then after he was told to leave, he then re-enters the establishment after leaving by himself, re-enters, and then aggressively comes through the door, past the main two guys, and into the face of somebody else, and decides to assault them, touch them first. Now, again, nobody in that video touched that dude at all. They let him chill. They let him rock out, all the other type of stuff, say the wild stuff that he wanted to say. He didn't end up on the ground of that parking lot. He didn't start seeing the little Tweety birds and the angels and all of the violins and the hymns at Heaven's Gate. He didn't start seeing it up until he started acting wild, when he got beside himself and decided to put his hands on a black man within an establishment. That's the least of his worries. Right, he got a few bumps and bruises. They say he got a broken jaw. All right, those are love taps, right? Because realistically, if you go back through there and count, you got about 9 black men that are there. They could have been river dancing on that man's soul. They could have been river dancing on his whole body. They could have been playing Stump the Yard. They could have been hopscotching. They could have been doing every tic-tac-toe. They could have been doing any and everything, but they didn't do that. Like I said before, these people get shown a variety of grace. And no matter how much grace that black people show these individuals, and no matter how it is that they want to act beside themselves, you will still have the white media, aka mainstream media, decide to paint them as the victims, even though they are the perpetrators. Again, like I said before, white dude decided to come into a bar. He wanted to sit up there and start dancing, being inebriated, all this other type of stuff. He wanted to get disrespectful to the black security there, and maybe some of the other black patrons, started using slurs. Everybody was just excusing him. None of those black men put hands directly on him, even though it was deserving, because he had no right to start speaking out of the side of his neck, because nobody addressed him or came at him like that. The only time the hands and feet were put directly on this man is when he decided to put hands on a black man for no reason. And like I said, that's justice. That's karma. Like I said, white people, stop putting your hands on black people. This is not the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s, the 10s, the 1800s or whatnot. This is not back in those slavery, Jim Crow days, segregation. This is not those times. Of course, you got the blood of your ancestors running through your veins, but that doesn't mean that you decide to give in to that lust and I'm about to sit up there and put hands on my property. Nah, because ain't nobody your property. These are not those times. We're not walking around here with papers. You don't have ownership over nobody. Like I said before, y'all went out here out of y'all way to put hands on Denzel Washington at a ceremony, awards, whatnot, or whatever. And he specifically told those people, like, yo, don't put your hands on me. Get your hands off of me. That's crazy. That dude is like 60, close to 70 or whatnot, whatever, years old. You shouldn't be putting hands on another grown man. If black people tell you to stop, you stop. When black people tell you to leave, you leave. That's it. If you don't want to sit up there and potentially meet Jesus or whoever it is that you decide to bow down to or praise or sacrifice to, hey, pay attention to what black people sit up there and tell you. If not, you're going to end up just like that dude on the concrete or kissing the asphalt, and you're going to be wondering how you got here. Right? But like I said, the only victims here are the black people that had to deal with this man coming directly into their space. That's it. This dude was a straight criminal. He was a perpetrator. He was up to no good. And I need every other black person out here to go watch Sinners and to realize that you do not allow vampires in. You do not welcome them in. That's it. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.